Bitcoin ETF Explained. Hello everyone! In this video, I'll go over the Bitcoin ETF. But first, let's define Bitcoin and an exchange-traded fund. Then, I'll explain why the two were combined and why the concept was rejected. There'll be a lot more in the future. What is Bitcoin? So, it's a bit of an enigma when it comes to Bitcoin. We know it's decentralized and runs on a blockchain, but what exactly is it? Everyone has their own interpretation of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, in essence, a commodity or a currency. Should we compare Bitcoin to precious metals like gold and silver, or should we compare Bitcoins in US dollars to the British pound? Is Bitcoin, on the other hand, something different? Is it a payment system, in which case we should compare it to PayPal, Visa, and American Express? Now, the reason why Bitcoin has become so popular is that, in the past, governments could freeze your money if you did something wrong. Governments also have capital controls. However, if you have Bitcoin, you can quickly move your money out of the country via capital flight. You can also use Bitcoin to avoid paying taxes because it allows you to conceal a significant amount of money. However, the trouble with Bitcoin is that no one really knows how much it's worth, and there's a lot of volatility, with values fluctuating wildly. The Bitcoin technology has several fundamental issues once again. It's moving at a snail's pace. It's reached maximum capacity, making it extremely pricey, and there are whispers of a Bitcoin split. We may have Bitcoin Classic and Bitcoin Unlimited, but that's all there is to it. What is an ETF? For the time being, I'd like to discuss exchange-traded funds, which are rapidly gaining popularity. So my goal is to just assist us in comprehending an ETF. These are the 8 questions that I'd like to pose to you. What exactly is it exactly? It's a stock exchange-listed investment vehicle that's linked to passive investing, diversification, and liquidity. Basically, instead of buying a bunch of different securities, you put them all in a basket and buy one. Yes, there's some paperwork and a few extra parties to deal with, but the bottom line is that you can do pretty much whatever you want with this. You can now purchase it in the same way that an equity index is purchased. Within one security, you can acquire an entire basket of bonds or even conduct something like a style value or growth investment. And the security may be a lister trader that is produced and then redeemed. They're also regulated, with the net asset value, fees, and number of shares being the most essential characteristics. The price and ETFs can be calculated by dividing the net asset value by the number of shares. They can mimic indices and adhere to certain investment mandates. So, why do we want a Bitcoin ETF? What it will essentially accomplish is allow Bitcoins to be exchanged on the stock market, which is a very exciting idea. The reason for this is that it will make purchasing Bitcoin much more convenient. It will lower the risk of hacking and simplify things. You must now enter your wallets and perform all of these strange tasks in order to obtain Bitcoins. Additionally, you must go through such trades, which are rather costly. As a result, expenses will be reduced and there will be a greater number of market makers, resulting in more liquidity. Being listed on the stock exchange will raise Bitcoin's brand recognition even further, which will stimulate demand, especially if institutional investors get involved, causing the price to skyrocket. It will also allow for short-selling units and derivatives to be created around it, according to one of the articles I read. While this is true for ETFs, it is not true for other securities such as Bitcoin, because a Bitcoin can be split into a second owner, Satoshis, which is 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. So, I read that article and don't know anything about Bitcoin, but I'll let that slide. Why Bitcoin got rejected by the Securities Exchange Commission? The key argument was that Bitcoin is undiversified. An exchange-traded fund is designed to do just that. Instead of buying each individual stock on the stock exchange, you buy one security that is a basket of all of them, and they claim that the maximum amount of any one asset you may hold in an ETF is 10% of your overall portfolio. However, with this exchange-traded fund, it would be entirely in Bitcoin. The last 3 arguments in particular I found amusing because they claimed Bitcoin is uncontrolled. It's a little absurd to claim that we can't regulate it because it's unregulated. This is also a lot of fun to watch. They claimed that surveillance and enforcement are difficult and that this is one of the main reasons why individuals desire to use Bitcoin. It's also because there's no central depository to keep track of things, albeit this has the drawback of making exchanges irreversible if your Bitcoins are stolen. Another reason I believe the ETF was rejected is that the ETF management had high expectations for this one. Clearly, the Winklevoss twins were the culprits. Remember, these are the same individuals that claim we created Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg sued us. Now, take a look at the ETF sponsor. The Winklevoss twins will be in charge. Who will act as custodians holding all of these bitcoins? That's right, you've guessed it. The Winklevoss twins are a pair of identical twins who were born in the same year. There may be a conflict of interest according to the Securities Exchange Commission. As a result, I pity these poor souls. Everything they try, whether it's social media or ETFs, seems to fail for them. But I do believe Bitcoin is in a bit of a bubble and is, expensive in my opinion, despite the fact that I've been stating this since Bitcoin was still selling for pennies on the dollar. I believe the price is now $1,200, but it changes every minute, so I can't be sure. Should you invest in Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs right now? Bitcoin is highly volatile, so if you're prepared to accept the risk, make sure you know what you're getting into and have a crypto investment strategy in place. Also, make sure you're not investing out of a fear of missing out. You should ask yourself a few questions. Cryptocurrency, like any other investment, has risks and possible benefits. Cryptocurrency is more dangerous when compared to other sorts of investments. Before you invest, consider the following. We don't advise you to put all of your life savings into cryptocurrency. It's advisable to think of it as a form of gambling and only put a small portion of your discretionary income into it. Never put more money into an investment than you can afford to lose. If you don't have much money left at the end of each month, it's advisable to avoid crypto and instead focus on saving. Most average investors would never consider trading pure currency like the US dollar or the Japanese yen. This is because forex trading is seen as a full-time, highly technical business. People who are interested in the sector could instead access it via a less direct method, investing in companies that develop blockchain technology and operate cryptocurrency exchanges, for example. Whatever your point of view, there's no doubt that boom and bust cycles have been a part of Bitcoin's whole existence, thus some significant ups and downs appear to be highly possible. Making money on an asset, like any other investment, is determined by the price at which it is purchased and sold. You will make money if you sell it at a greater price than when you got it. You'll lose money if you sell it for less than what you paid for it. As an illustration, you would have made a 300% profit if you had purchased Bitcoin at the beginning of 2020 and sold on December 31, 2020. If you bought Bitcoin at the beginning of 2018 and sold it at the end of the year, you would have lost 73% of your investment. Because Bitcoin is so volatile, the key is to avoid panicking and compounding your losses by selling when the price drops. All investments are the same in this regard. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, I adore. I've put some money into them just to make sure I'm paying attention. I enjoy having a lot of fun with Dogecoin to the point where I've even raised some funds to invest in another coin, despite the fact that these other currencies have a very commercial mentality. I'll be doing videos in the future if you want to learn more about it. So, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave your opinions in the comments section below. Do you consider Bitcoins to be overpriced? Do you believe it should be traded as an ETF? Let me know and we'll go check it out. Thank you for taking the time to watch. That's all I've got for today. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and set on post notifications to receive notifications when new videos are posted.